welcome everyone to joining this session. Great to see you here. Yeah, yeah, thank you. I think without further ado, we can start the session. And again, a very welcome to everyone to this session about Master of Arts in Urban Design. And really thank you for your interest to joining us. And I think with our virtual background here, I think I can just very quickly introduce ourselves here today. And before that, may I make a humble request for everyone. So for better communications among all of us, and if you don't mind, I would like to invite our guests to open your cameras, turn on your cameras, so that we can see each other and have a better communication at a later stage throughout the next 40 to 45 minutes time. Thank you very much for your cooperation. And I will leave this to you for your decision. Before we formally start, I will introduce myself first. My name is Zhang Ye, and as shown in this virtual background, I'm the director of the Master of Arts in Urban Design program. We have another two speakers here. First one is Asma, and she's the adjunct associate professor of the program. She's now in France, actually. It's one of our international colleagues. And the other guest speaker is Jason Ang. He is in Singapore, and he's also an adjunct associate professor to the department. And both of them have a very long engagement with the program, much better than I do. And both of them knows the programs very well. So later on, I would invite them to share with you more details. So for the next 40 minutes, what we're going to do is this. For the first 10 minutes, I will just give you an overview of this program, and I will share slides and also a video. And after that, I would invite Jason and Asma to share with us some insights of the program. And for the last 10 minutes-ish, I will open the floor for questions regarding the program, if there's any of you. All right, without further ado, and please allow me to share my screen, and we're going to formally kickstart this session. Yeah, I believe you can see the whole screen, the full screen right now. Okay, I will go directly, to save our time, I'll go directly. So the first thing I would like to highlight here is that NUS actually has been leading the urban design education in Asia since 1997. And this program is the first of this kind of program set in Asia back to that time. Over the past 25 years, actually this year is our 25th anniversary. We're going to roll out a series of activities for this celebration. And we have already cultivated numerous leading urban designers across the world. And as you know, that cities in Asia are confronted with unprecedented challenges ranging from environmental threats to the resource inefficiency, and from social inequality to public health declining, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, the cities in Asia are also standing at the forefront of developing new economic models, of logical structures, technological interventions, and governmental institutions to build a more resilient and equitable and livable urban environment. So both the challenge and the opportunities are the key focus of our program towards constant reinvention of the urban design profession, especially for Asia. And this program of urban design actually focuses on a couple of key areas of Asian urbanism, i.e. the challenges to Asian cities, such as the high-density urban environments, which many of you are familiar with, and related to that about climate change and the resilience, and Singapore is at the front line of such a challenge, and the social cohesions, and identity of the cities in the rapid urbanization process, and rapid urban regeneration processes are something many cities are searching for. And in terms of the aim of the program, we aim to cultivate the leading urban designers with strategic visions and creative thinking skills in Asia, but beyond. And then we aim to equip our graduates with cutting-edge knowledge, social responsibility, entrepreneurial spirits, and all other necessary skills, so we can together push the forwards of the urban design profession in this rapidly urbanizing world. And this 4 or 5 slides shares about our big vision, why we are here, what we would like to do, and our aims. So in the following parts of this presentation, I will tell you how we are going to achieve this goal. And there are different approaches to it. So firstly, I'd like to highlight the team of our professors. So our team is drawn from an international cast of experts from both academia and the practice to provide all the students with a global perspective and help them become future-ready urban designers to deal with the challenges, as I just mentioned above. And it's also notable that Singapore is a regional hub for many multinational design and planning firms, and all the firms attract numerous urban professionals from everywhere of the world. And this is a very, very rich pool of resources that we always draw, and we engage different professionals from different backgrounds in different ways to enhance the teaching, the learning of this program. And the next one, why Singapore? Why Singapore is so unique? As you all know, Singapore is actually have outstanding achievements in the high density urbanism. It's really the birthplace of many innovative urban design ideas that leads to the production of high density and high quality urban spaces across many countries in this region and beyond. So to study in Singapore is actually for all the students to live the country's experiences, to in person witness how it creates the new spatial configurations, incorporates natural resources, promote public engagement, and harness the smart technology in the recent Smart Nation initiative to achieve the successful placemaking. So that's why Singapore provides you with a unique environment for learning, not just about this program, not just about NUS, but the entire country as a whole. And in addition to that, we try to expand the exposure to have a broad connections with both practice and government agencies. We engage a lot of friends from different organizations in teaching different modules to deepen our students' learning process and link the academic learning to the real practice, to the real world. So from the logos on the right hand, you can see that we work very closely with, say, the planning authority of the country, Urban Redevelopment Authority. And in the middle, you can see a couple of the largest firms of the world, like AECOM, Arab, DP Architects, and so on. So we engage all the practitioners in the teaching to really pave the way for our students to move smoothly to the practice, to the planning professionals after graduation. And another important focus of this program is collaborative learning. So we know that urban design practice is collaboration across different knowledge boundaries and professional disciplines. So this program places the social and the intellectual interdependence at the core of our education. This then relates back to our aim of nurturing leadership skills in the future urban designers, for them to deal with the multi-professional, multidisciplinary collaboration with a strong commitment to create greater cities in the future. And in order to carry on with these 4 approaches, we just have a revamped curriculum from last year. So this is a whole new curriculum, so starting from last year to achieve all the goals we just mentioned. And briefly speaking, the curriculum is divided into 2 stages for 2 semesters, from the fundamental stage to the developmental stage. So if you follow my cursor at the beginning, we will have a framework of urban design to give all the students an overview of the fields. And on this basis, a study will be conducted looking at all the fundamentals of urban design to give students all the needed knowledge and skills of urban design at this stage. And the studio module is also related to the urban design theory modules closely. And in addition to that, we expanded exposure to urban economics and also how the big data and the AI technologies could be applied as a method and the tools to enhance urban design. So the modules are also closely related to each other. And you can also tell that, say, these two modules are also shared with different programs from different faculties. So in that case, we can further achieve collaborative learning with students of very different backgrounds to enhance the collaborations as a needed skill set for the future. And in the second stage, it's a developmental stage for the second semester. In addition to the two core modules of urban design and a theory of contemporary urban design, and we basically let the second semester to be a stage for students to thrive by yourself. So you have the options to choose the electives of your interest and link it to the studio or other pursuits you might have. In addition to that, you can also pursue the research track for urban design dissertation. So in this case, the dissertation is co-supervised by academic staff with someone from either practice or the government agencies. And with this wider scope, we hope that we can provide a platform for the students to explore different opportunities from a practice to the government agencies, to the different organizations, or even be an entrepreneur yourself towards the future in this urban world. And in total, we have 44 modules covering different aspects of urban design within this 1 year time. And on this notes, all the informations I just mentioned are basically available online. And if you're interested, you can scan this QR code for the websites. In addition to that, we also have a program Instagram accounts. In this Instagram accounts, we share a lot of our activities in different modules. Of course, more importantly, our students' life on their daily basis. So you can get a better understanding of this program by these two online platforms. Okay, I will stop my sharing of the slides here. And what I'm going to right now is to share a video to give you a much more vivid understanding of this program. All right, thank you very much. And that's the part about the overview of the program. I hope the video can give you some more lively understanding about what we do and how we live our life here in this program. And most of the contents of this video is actually from the last year, where we try to push more engaged learning opportunities despite the pandemic and all the difficulties we have to face together. So we'll continue with these efforts in the following parts of in the next academic year and the future. If there's any challenges, we'll work together as a whole team with Jason, Osman, and the other colleagues to deal with that. And without further ado, I think now I'd like to invite Jason and Osman to share about their insights of this program. And I would like to ask a few questions related to key points that I mentioned just now in the slides and reflected in the video. So I think that one of the key points for this program, for all of us together, is to look at in which ways our teaching and learning can provide new knowledge to address the pressing needs and the challenges of Asian urbanisms in our studio. So we incorporate the different challenges, different problems of the cities into the studio, into other modules for the program. So maybe Jason or Asma, either of you, would you like to share a bit about this aspect of the program with an example? I'll leave the floor to you.
Well, thanks for the invitation and happy to see everybody here. Welcome. I will not waste time. And really, it's been 25 years, Zhang Ye, for MAU.
Exactly.
And thanks for the reminder, because I was from the first batch of MAUD, and I came back to teach in 2013. Okay, I think we see a lot of global urban issues, I think, other than just merely Asian urban issues. And how I see it is something that is imminently present. It's always there. And I think as urban designers, we have to be ever ready to face such challenges, but yet we have to go on with life. So every day we should not be overburdened by such considerations. So how do we make a city that enables that? I think one from my experience is that what we teach is, one of the important things that we teach is how do we make a city resilient? And by making a city resilient has basically two parts, I think. First is by mitigating the cost of such challenges. I think that's quite a long-term thing, and we have to study. Secondly is enabling when such challenges actually threatens us. We have to enable humanity to survive, to adapt, and also to grow. And basically, I think that is something which we do in our projects, in our studios. And we have done projects, for example, in Bangkok and in Chennai. And we have dealt with the global flooding issues, the rising sea levels. And this is done with actual site visits, where the situation permits us to go. And in fact, this very practical projects, very hands-on projects, actually won a lot of awards over the past, almost every year, I think.
Yeah.
The student projects have won award with the Institute of Planners. I think that's the first part. And the other aspects that we have learned, I think Prof. Chang has spoken about it. My particular topic of interest is local sustainability, So how we approach from the bottom up in a participatory approach to urban design, and how we augment the urban policies and things like that. Okay, I don't know, Asma, you want to add? Maybe we do sing together.
Asma, you're muted.
Yes, sorry. Yes, so like Jason, I'm super happy to see you on this session. And I'm teaching a MAUD program for 15 years. So I'm super happy to continue with Jason and Ye. Yes, I don't have anything to add, but I think that Jason said the things that I wanted to say. Yes, the program is able to travel to Asia to understand resilience and to go on different sites according to different situations to understand climate change issue and also social condition. And basically, this is what we did when we went to Chennai, Bangkok, and this year we will go to Japan. So this is what we are doing basically. And yes, resilience is our main focus. More than being sustainable, we target to be resilient socially and also in an urban way. Voila.
Thank you, Asma. On that note, I think I would like to give the second question to you. This way is rather more interesting, I believe. I think I highlighted it just now in the presentation that it's not only about our program, it's actually about this place. It's a very unique country, unique situation, but it gives us very rich experiences about the urban developments, about urban planning and design. So a lot of things can be learned from Singapore's past existing conditions, but also future visions. And in our program, we try to incorporate such a great advantage into the learning and the teaching journey. So yes, you have been engaged in this program for 15 years, as you mentioned. And would it be possible for me to invite you to share a little bit about how we link our education in terms of the very specially designed pedagogies to incorporate Singapore's experiences in the learning and to make much more sense of the learning and related to the words we observe, we experience while students are studying here.
Yes. Also, the other things, so yes, MUD program allowed us to travel, but also one of the specificity of this program, as he mentioned, is to be in Singapore. And what we really like is to do direct collaboration with a governmental agency, for instance. So we know better about Singapore in terms of planning, in terms of program, in terms of economy and biology also, because we can work with ant parks. When we consider the nature, we can work with URA. If we are more targeting planning, we work with GTC. So this is how we learn from Singapore, not only by visiting Singapore and understanding Singapore, but also by a direct collaboration with this governmental agency. And for me, one of the specificity of this program is to be directly linked with them. And more than linked, some of our students then continue their professional experience by working in GTC and URA. So it's more than a collaboration. So this is the part that in terms of learning from Singapore, the program could add. Maybe Jason, you want to?
Yeah, thank you, Asma. I think you mentioned a very interesting point. Yes, the collaboration with the government agencies. But actually, I just want to add a bit more on that point is many of, especially take the studio, which is the core module of the program. The studio actually largely connected to the real planning activities and urban design proposals of the country. So it's not really a fully hypothetical case, but very much related to the actual development process of the country. And we engage all the relevant professionals, like the chief urban designer of URA, like the CEOs of different firms, as you saw from the video, to be closely engaged in the entire learning process throughout the semester. And but of course, Asma indicated, and another agenda we have on this way is in the hope to open more opportunities for jobs of our students. Because of this collaboration, because of the interactions, we hope that the exposure, the interactions would be able to give you some opportunities or some advantages even to secure a job position in the places of your interest, of your pursuit, so that you can have a smooth transition from your study to the future career development. We'll hand the floor to you, Jason.
I think that my experience is very a bit more special because after MAUD, I actually work abroad. And what you could say is that MAUD is very international and it equips me very well to work not only in Singapore, but out of Singapore. And it's been almost 20 years that I've been having businesses not only in Singapore, but abroad. So I think it's a good cause to come if you want to, like Asma said, travel or see the world. But also, if you look back to Singapore, it is a very convenient and yet very valuable reference for urban precedences and context. It is a place which is very, very convenient and very focused. And you can easily visit a myriad, a diverse range of urban situations in one place. So it's very convenient. So at MAUD, we actually visit real life examples of projects, then we create as a team and we learn to negotiate the encumbrances. So what I think we always do is we try to bring a practicality to the MAUD, like what Prof. Chang says, preparing students for their onward career as realistically as possible, right? So I think we go beyond acquiring the knowledge and skill. We try to inculcate students being intellectually smart on top of being street smart. we stress independent thinking, with fitting references, solid arguments, and logical decision making. So all this actually, I think, will help in their career later on. Basically, that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Jason. And I think in the last 5 to 10 minutes time, and I would like to leave the floor open the floor to the audiences here. I'm sure some of you might have some questions for us, and 3 of us here will do our best to address it. So floor is open for all of you. You can just turn on your camera or audio to speak directly. Or alternatively, you can type in your questions into the chat, and I'll keep my eye on the chat box. So we can also pick up your questions from there.
Don't be shy, you can ask any questions.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I will share back the QR codes so that you can have a reference. If you scan the QR code to the Instagram or to the website, you can get more information about this program. Yes, from Haiyan, could you tell more about what should be presented in the portfolio? Are you talking about applying for the program? Then you have to submit the portfolio, or are you talking about other aspects? I just want to clarify the question so that we answer you properly. So let me answer your I think you might type in right now. So let me answer your third question there. So urban course based on Singapore, we kind of achieve a balance. I have to say, over the past 2 years, because of the pandemic, we couldn't travel. So that's the site and the issue of the urban design course are mainly in Singapore. However, the key principle, putting aside the pandemic impact, the key principle is to keep a balance. So for the first semester, we aim to focus on Singapore and drawing on Singapore's experiences and the more advanced urban design planning profession to consolidate the fundamentals of urban design for all the students. In the second semester, we divided the studio into a couple of independent ones, and each studio have the full flexibility and freedom to choose the topic, and in related to the topic, to organize the trips to different countries. So the site and the issues of the studio can be different from year to another. It could be in Bangkok or Chennai in India, as Jason Asma mentions, and we also explore the Philippines, Indonesia, and we also like to explore Japan, and we also travel to Australia before and Europe. So it's really about individual studios with the theme, and together with that, organize the trip and to expand the exposure to enhance the learning. And the second question is about mostly teamwork or individual work. As I highlighted in the presentation, collaboration between students, not only between students, actually, between teachers and the students, and teamwork would be the core of this program. It actually stands at the center of the pedagogy. And the one reason for this is in the future, the urban design profession is mainly about collaboration rather than individual work. So we would like to develop your ability of social and intellectual interdependence in this process. So most of the work will be done by groups, but the individuals' contribution are important in this process. So I hope this clarifies this question. And okay, there's more questions here. I will share back so that you can see each other better. And the next question from GM is can we learn some knowledge such as big data or AI? Yes, precisely. So one of the modules of the first semester is called the methods and the tools of urban design. Is actually focused on big data analytics based on the GIS platform and incorporates AI. Of course, not very profound, but at the applicable stage, and to inform the urban design planning decision making. And this module is actually taught by a colleague with a very strong AI and the GIS background. In terms of the methods you talk about we use, or the tools we use, it's a kind of a balance. It's a combination of both. So on the one hand, we like to harness the power of the data of the AIs, but on the other hand, we have to be careful about the limitations of all these new tools and the new methods. We have to really continue with the very valuable part of the traditional methods to understand people, to understand their engagement, interactions, feelings, very subjective perceptions of the environment, so that we can have a concrete basis to come up with design proposals, or to work together with the people to co-design spaces to create the more inviting environments for everyone. So the methods have to be a balance. They have to be led by the questions rather than led by the methods. And we use the proper methods or combination of the conventional and the new methods to maximize the potential of the design. I hope I answered this question, GM. So the next one from Luke. If the classes are conducted in the morning, afternoon, or at the night, yes, okay. The part-time option is possible, as we stated in the brochure. However, since most of the students or the majority of the students are full-time and also related to the school's schedule and our colleagues' schedule, the courses are primarily conducted in the daytime, i.e. morning or afternoon. 1 or 2 modules might be conducted in the evening, but it's a little bit different year from year. So I think we have to talk about this in detail on a case-by-case basis. The next one, Wesley, how would a 2-year part-time program be conducted? Okay, the 2-year part-time will be conducted in this way, and each student have your own flexibility to choose which few modules you would like to take for the first year, which few modules you would like to take in the second year, and in relation to your work arrangement or your other businesses. So we can look at the timetable in detail. We can look at the specific plans for individuals. It could be a case by case. And we of course, over the 2 years' time, you have to complete all the modules in order to get a degree. But our recommendation is, say, you conduct, it's not suggested to you put 2 studios into the same year. So if you look at a part-time for 2 years, we would suggest you to put 1 studio in the first year and 1 theory module in the first year, because the theory module and the studio are closely connected. And another studio and theory module into the second year. And for the rest of the modules, basically we can have a detailed discussion, and we can tailor this program and plan for each individual students, because we understand for part-time students, you do have constraints from your work, from many other things. So we very much take into account of that aspect. I hope this answers the question. So the design portfolio is a must for the application. However, I have to make it clear that, say, we are not only looking at design portfolios, we're looking at your overall application package to assess each individual's comprehensively. So design is important, but it's not the only elements for the application. We also conduct interviews for every single student, and in order to better understand applicants and to assess the overall ability for the students in terms of the admission. The next question from Jin, I think urban planning architecture, as we talk about in the brochure and in the website, this program is pretty much a design-focused program. So your experiences or your basic knowledge about design of the building environment, i.e. from the fields of architecture to landscape architecture to urban design, urban planning, would be a prerequisite for the program. Okay, putting it this way, I think I'm not saying that we completely close the doors to our applicants without design knowledge background. But in such cases, we still encourage you to apply to us, but we will conduct more detailed interviews and talk with you to assess the applicants on individual cases in order to see that's whether we can have the possibilities to broaden the diversity of the students group. I hope this answers the question.